There's actually a fan under the camera to make his hair flow when he gets close to it. He's a very sheltered individual who didn't grow up with having many relationships or anything. He was in one musical and didn't shower when he was younger. This is so incoherent. If you're friends with someone who's done something abusive, it means you don't care about abuse. But the idea that you just can't be friends with anyone that's ever done a bad thing. What? I do. I'm one of the smart ones. I'm one of the really smart people that Public Gut's talking about right now. That's me. I'm really smart and original. Says the Sonic playing PNG tuber. Okay. It's a GIF. He was abusing DankyJabo. He was abusing DankyJabo by getting him into content creation. Guys, shut up, listen, and learn. Okay, she's talking about her experiences, her truth, her story. Before we talk about the beef curtains,
I have one thing.
Let's hash one thing out. Let's get one thing straight.
No, let me just write that down. And before.
Let me just note that down. Beef curtains.
Or that he's. Okay,
that's reasonable. Okay, first reasonable thing I've heard from Louis Mcclung here. DankyJabo. So there's this guy called DankyJabo. All right, I'm going to do a summary because I've already covered part of this, but I didn't make it into a segment or anything. And I probably won't. So we're going to do the real coverage right now. So I'm already sort of informed on the situation here. DankyJabo is this guy. Okay, a couple weeks ago, I watched his Smart Schoolboy 9 video. I think this one, maybe the other one. I'm not sure. And it was really dumb. It was very stupid. It was one of the dumbest videos I've ever seen. He tried to act as though Smart Schoolboy 9 was some sort of like puppet master, pulling the strings on everything. That he was actually a super intelligent guy underneath the appearance of being a schizophrenic to the point of complete disability, deeply disturbed, childlike freak, you know, who will never get help, will never improve his position in society whatsoever, will just live a life of abject misery. So I was not impressed with this video pretending that Smart Schoolboy 9 was in any way like a rational actor or an intelligent person, because it's just so blatantly not true, and it's just a desperate narrative he was spinning to try and make the content more interesting. Now, aside from his content being absolutely atrocious, he was also an editor for ImAllexx. Obviously, ImAllexx is considered to be a complete monster, because anyone who has ever abused a woman is a complete irredeemable monster, and they must have all of their jobs stripped from them, all of their friends stripped from them, all of their money, their life, their family stripped from them. If you ever abuse a woman, you must be hard into the dirt. That is the standard. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I'm just here to help women enforce them so that I can secure my place in the longhouse. But DankyJabo was an editor for ImAllexx. And this guy, Louis Mcclung, well, not Louis Mcclung, someone else reached out to DankyJabo and basically asked him, hey, you still, I see you're still following an abuser. Why are you still following an abuser? And they didn't name who. And he basically says, oh, sorry, I'll unfollow the annoying orange right now. Obviously making a joke about the fact that they didn't name who they were talking about, and mocking the idea that he should be forced to follow or unfollow specific people. Now, he did end up unfollowing Alex. He did buckle and unfollow ImAllexx. But he made a joke about it first. And then, as a result of this, Katiclyzm, her name's something like that. Katiclyzm. I think it's like meant to be like Cataclysm, but it's like the name Katie. This channel, this girl, did like some live stream basically being like, it was pretty weird, to be honest. She just pops off a lot about, you know, how being a rad femme. It's a very rad femme live stream. Yeah, Timu Lav, basically. Except not, because this girl's actually got a following and is kind of successful. But yeah, it was very rad femme, very like, oh, ImAllexx is an oppressive abuser, and everyone that's been associated with it, we have to fight back as women. It very much gave that energy. And off the back of this, Louis Mcclung, that's why he made his video in the end. That's why he jumped into the discourse to make his video. So we'll watch a little bit of this. I'll show you this. I'll introduce you to Louis Mcclung. I'll show you a bit of Katiclyzm. And then what we're really going to be covering, now that you've got sort of the understanding here, basically this DankyJabo guy was just friends with ImAllexx at one point, possibly worked with him, and they're going after him for it. once we've watched a bit of this, understood who the characters are, there has been a debate, I believe. Papa Gut, who is a name some of you may know. I think I have some out of audience crossover with him. He's been around a long time, was on Destiny stream years ago, and has just sort of been churning around in the background, churning along in the background, making content, making drama content. Every time I've seen his content, he seemed pretty reasonable, so I'm looking forward to it. And he spoke to, I believe, Louis Mcclung and Katiclyzm, I think, is my understanding. So let's take a look. Let's just see what she had to say, a bit of this, and then we'll watch a bit of Louis Mcclung.
When in reality, that is stupid, because I feel...
So let's see, what's she saying?
Doubling down? Just if you're not friends. He 1000% hid my comment. Yes, definitely, Andy, because I checked for it, and I couldn't find it.
Yo, thank you, End Times Memes, for the 10 gifted memberships. Hugely appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
If you aren't guilty, you wouldn't be nuking messages. Exactly. I mean, you just don't delete if you're a good person. You just don't need to do that. And you know what? I'm not saying I would forgive him, but if he could just say, look, I don't know why I said that. Here's my reasoning. I'm not friends with Alex and he can explain. Then I'd be like, yeah, all right. That's as good as it gets.
So, I mean, I don't understand why they're policing who he's friends with offline. Like, if it's not in the public eye, if you're not helping the public platform, I don't understand why it's up for criticism. You can be friends with someone as long as you're not, like, helping them. Like, just because someone does a bad thing doesn't mean that they're totally persona non grata and no one can ever know this person again. Right? As long as you're not abetting them in some way, helping them get away with more stuff, propping the public platform up, I really don't know what criticism you can have.
I don't want to be friends with you. I don't like you, but take accountability. It's not hard. Back to cancel culture. I don't necessarily believe with some things that if you make a mistake online, you're screwed for life. I think there should be some nuance, right? Because people make mistakes. People do bad things. People say bad things. Now, I'm not talking about abusing someone or doing something terrible. But there is an element of, like, let people grow. Just because they're online, it doesn't mean they're not going to make mistakes. But doubling down? Thank you very much, The Fact Freak, for the £5. Big fan, keep smashing it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you, mods. I'm assuming people are being annoying. I really
Excellent
appreciate
stuff.
that.
Thanks, mods.
Katie, please don't get into scandals. I'll take online, they're done. Cancel culture vibes going on that people feel like if they make a mistake online they're done, when in reality that is stupid, because like you're a human, you're gonna say things that are wrong, your opinion's gonna change, and for people to jump on your back and be like, oh, you're gone forever now, cancelled, is insane. It's unrealistic. I don't agree with it. It's stupid. I don't even think necessarily that Jesse, DankyJabo should just disappear offline and never return. I do, however, think that if your channel is built off of talking about abuse, you do...
The Fact Freak is an incredible username. The Factophile.
...need to address it. And you do need to rethink your attitude towards victims of abuse. And you do need to have a very hard look at yourself and question why you are being such a hypocrite.
Oh, yeah, so this is the other element here. Most of DankyJabo's channel is about abuse. He does a lot of videos calling out abusive men, you know, because that's what women want to watch, is they want to watch guys who sit there going, oh, I would never rape you. I would never abuse you. I would never rape you. I would never abuse you, endlessly. That's what women want to watch on YouTube. So that's what these guys make. So there is sort of like a hypocrisy point to be made. If DankyJabo really wanted to seem consistent, he would have made a video on Alex, but he hasn't, so...
People online really do hold the past over people's heads. Yeah, it can be insane. It can be insane. I mean, look, I've made mistakes, man. The way I see it is that I come online, I give my opinion, and I leave. I'm not someone that people should see my opinions and go, oh, I need to copy this girl's opinion. I need to be exactly like her. I need to copy everything she says and believe what she says. People are going to disagree with me. Some of the people that watch every one of my videos, they're going to disagree with me, and that is perfectly fine, because I'm not a public speaker, I'm not a politician. You know, everything I say is just my opinion, and I'm just like everyone else when it comes to what I think and what I believe. It doesn't mean it's set in stone. My opinion will change, and that is just why I don't think cancel culture is effective. Cancelling people for saying something doesn't work. You know, they can change their opinion. Obviously, there's a limit, you know. he needs to speak up and address it or pivot his content. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people saying my audio's low. Some people have said it's okay, so I'm really sorry if it is low. I'll look at that for my next
Yeah,
stream.
I mean, I think you're getting the message here. I think you understand like what this one's about, right? I think you're getting it. I don't think we need to see any more of that. So let's see Louis Mcclung, our other character here. Let's have a look at this guy.
Listen.
No, not Repsion fighting. No. Surely this guy's less unbearable, right? Oh, yeah, this is...
Welcome back, members of the audience, to just a delightful show. One of my favorites, you reap what you sow. And today, there's a case that needs to be cracked by yours truly, Detective Mcclung.
So yeah, as you can see, this guy's wearing an absolutely gimpy Amazon, like, gay pirate outfit that he's put together here. He's a wannabe theater kid, but obviously was an autistic guy who was playing Magic for the entirety of high school. And has just got a YouTube channel and decided to start embracing his campsite. And you'll see at some moments, if you see here, his hair is actually, you'll see it's like floating out here. Because when he gets close to the camera, there's actually a fan next to the camera. There's actually a fan under the camera to make his hair flow when he gets close to it.
Since then,
you see this?
Since that incident, and this incident is the catalyst that starts everything. And
you see that, how it's blowing?
I mean everything. ImAllexx, if you don't know, and if you don't want to watch that video, I don't blame you, it was a while ago. ImAllexx was an abuser, confirmed to be an abusive asshole towards Alice, his ex-girlfriend. As far as we can tell, Alice did not deserve this. It was
this is very Repsion. This is very Repsion.
To deserve this, it was I mean everything. Incident is the catalyst. It's in a very steady pace time frame to think about. In the past 6 months, Jesse has
all the mannerisms are just very feminine.
I don't abusive. Not deserve this. It was not warranted. He was not in self-defense. It was purely aggressive behavior to his now ex. Well, it turns out over the pond in England, I'm in America if you don't know, ImAllexx was basically the head of the England community of commentary YouTubers. And in that sphere was DankyJabo, or Jesse.
ImAllexx is like my boss. ImAllexx is basically my boss.
DankyJabo. Right, I'm American. If there's anything, just so happened to be an editor for ImAllexx, or at least one of his editors at some point in time. You can even tell the blatant mentoring through the exact same thumbnail design. They use the exact same thumbnail design. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just more proof that he mentored him or taught him his way.
You all use this thumbnail stuff. All your thumbnails look exactly like this. Yours look like this, dude. Look at his thumbnails. They look exactly the same.
This apparently made him feel as though he owed Alex some gratitude. If you ask me, that sounds like you're willingly let somebody manipulate you, but that might just be me. Oh, you gave me my career, but you're going to exploit me for something because of it?
He makes a few errors too. Both Alex and Alice were abusive. Yeah, people don't want to hear that though, and it gets completely hand-waved as reactive abuse, even though there's instances that she specifically describes where she completely escalated out of any possible realm that could be seen as reasonable, like hitting him because he was talking shit. He said something bad to her and she started hitting him. She slapped him.
Yes, because you owe me. Every woman in Hollywood ever. But apparently, and still now, Jesse followed and still follows ImAllexx on Instagram. This is important because one of Alice's friends decided to reach out to him and ask why, if it was an accident, if he meant to unfollow him, or if he just didn't know what was going on, which was unlikely and is still unlikely and is very impossible now. Instead of many options, handling this in stride, ignoring it, confirming that it was just a mistake. No, he responded like so. Is there any reason you still follow and work for an abusive piece of shit? They're talking about Alex, and there's nobody else they could be talking about. I'm so sorry, mate. I'm not doing an accent. I'm not.
No, this person's not trans. And we're not going to watch much more of this video because it's fucking unbearable. This person sucks. This whole video sucks. It's just like a whole bunch of virtue signaling. Oh no, he uses the same fucking sense of sound as me. Scott Pilgrim is not made for people like you. Sorry. Made for real wiggers like me. Okay, so yeah, you can see on his community page here, he's LARPing as a woman. He's long-housed as fuck. He's trying to pretend to be like a asexual Ken doll that can be like posed in ways that women find unthreatening. Like, look at this. This is just fucking disgusting, man. This is just disgusting. Whereas I feel like we need some education. I just never have it. I was gonna play the Longhouse video. But I can't find it. I'm so dumb. Why didn't I bookmark it on Twitter when I had it last? What an idiot.
I got you.
So, with that in mind, let's have a look at Papa Gut attempting to fight back against Longhouse. Let's see a bit of his reaction here, see what his closing thoughts were as we get into the debate.
Ruin my career. You don't deserve to have that career if you can't handle the stuff you cover in real life with some amount of class and nuance. See, because what you lack is nuance. Being wrong is the quickest path to being right. Admitting your wrongs is the quickest path back to being a good person.
All right, let me get through this video so that we can talk, because I feel like we're just kind of
righting your wrongs, confessing your wrongs, being true to the people who support you and give you a job and a rent and a career. Okay, that is what gives you anything.
He deleted his Discord. Oh, I thought you said you deleted. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. Am I burnt out? Like, I thought you said that he had a Patreon. You said that he had a Patreon and then he deleted. I thought you said that he deleted it all when he got criticism, or he deleted his Patreon. Because if he deleted his Discord, it's probably because people are annoying him about it and he just doesn't want to deal with it. If he deleted his Patreon, that's just strange behavior.
All you have to do is be truthful. Like, honestly, if you said this, nobody else would have to say it. But you're avoiding it. You're running away from it. So this is my proposition to you, you nuance lacking goblin. Come on my show. Come on here. I will interview you unbiasedly. I will ask you questions. That is what I will do, okay? I'm offering you this proposition. I will interview you. If you feel as though you have no avenue for clearing your name, if there is really a way to clear your name, because you really need to clear this up. Your audience, above all, deserves the truth from you. Until you clarify whether or not you support an abuser, while also covering almost entirely abusive content, I am sending you directly straight into the fiery, burning layers of loser hell. You will stay there until you confess to what you have done. Your audience deserves an apology, dear.
Wow. Wow, this Louis Mcclung guy is really cool.
Let me be Louis Mcclung here for a second, okay? Not Detective Louis. You know what it feels like? See all of these commentary YouTubers dropping like flies? It worries me. Because, personally, I don't have any skeletons in my closet. I've had a very boring life, okay? I've been a straight-edge kid. I've been I was in one musical. I didn't have many friends. I kind of just watched shows, stayed inside and didn't shower enough as a child. I was a very cloistered individual. I didn't do anything, okay? But that kind of makes me the perfect YouTuber in a way, even though my life kind of sucked and I suffered with a lot of depression because of it. But somehow I still worry that I'm going to be involved with some person and they're going to turn out to be terrible. I only wish what he has brought on himself, okay? His own decisions. I don't want him to be canceled. I don't want him to lose a job. I don't want him to be thrown off the face of the earth or sent into a pit or whatever. What I want is for him to tell his audience the truth and stop lying to them. That's simply what I want. Audience member, my beautiful audience members, those who I cherish more than any earthly possession I have, because without you, I would have nothing. But I worry for you that you will become hateful, weary, because of all of these creators who are really dumb and
well, criticism, I guess. Super waiting.
Okay. I don't mind you in your room, whatever.
Do you guys want?
So he wasn't on board. Let's see. Let's see.
That's totally fine.
Him talking to Louis Mcclung.
If you do, let me know. All right, I got you in here. Now we just have to get him in here, and then we should be good.
Okay, cool.
Is that everybody? Is there anybody else?
All right.
I think that's everyone.
Okay, very good. All right. So I finished the video. I think my biggest issue is it seems like a lot of energy for something that seems to boil down to him just being maybe socially inept. So I don't know where you guys want to start. If you want to start.
I don't agree that it's about being socially inept. That already seems like a pretty retarded reading. It's not about being socially inept. He obviously just doesn't want to address the situation because he's still friends with the guy.
Like the first text message or Instagram message that he had sent out or that we received where the I guess the infamous annoying orange conversation.
Okay, first I want to ask you a question. As a YouTuber, would you say that you need to be educated on the things you talk about? Like as a basic baseline thing.
I mean, it probably helps. Generally speaking, I think most people on YouTube are not educated when they talk about. I think that's one of the whole potential issues.
How is okay? So bear in mind, we just saw Louis Mcclung here say he's a very sheltered individual who didn't grow up with having many relationships or anything. He was in one musical and didn't shower when he was younger. And so he's never been in relationships yet. He's claiming to be educated on abuse because he thinks there's a baseline that you should be educated on things you talk about. So he believes himself with zero relationship experience to be educated on abuse and abusive relationships.
Issues with YouTube,
right.
And even when it comes to like alternative media sources, is there's literally no level of nobody's held to a standard on YouTube in general.
Well,
even
there's
for the
no
broad audience
standard that is high enough.
Yeah, well, there's no like official standard. Like you don't take a test to be a YouTuber. Anybody can come and talk about anything. They can be right or wrong. It doesn't really matter as long as they aren't inciting violence. You can pretty much say whatever you want.
Sure, I agree, right? But that is also a problem when it comes to talking about things that involve other people's livelihoods, right? For instance, I personally just messed up entirely on the Blake Lively situation.
He's never been in a situation with a hysterical female who thinks she's going to get the last word. He doesn't get it.
Had to apologize for that because it was
So
a big
true.
mistake, right? But that's just the thing, right? I apologize for it. It's important to hold yourself accountable for these things, and he's not letting anybody reach him about it. I even messaged him directly, and he ignored it. So when you do that, it honestly feels like a kind of just like really idiotic thing to do, right? If you're going to make these decisions and then also hold yourself and everybody else you talk about at such a high level in front of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, then it's important for you to say something about it and do something about it, in my opinion.
So what is it that you're trying to like hold him to task for? Like, what is it exactly?
I'm pretty neutral on Papa Gut. Neutral to slight positive impression. Very slight positive, maybe.
Exactly that you feel that he did wrong, that he should respond to you guys about.
The biggest things I personally think he did wrong, and I'm sure Katie probably has a different point of view, is that he made a joke. Whether you think it was him calling Alex the annoying orange or not, I personally think he was just deflecting, but we can share different opinions on that. He did that and then continued to deflect and ignore and lie to cover up that initial incident, when that initial incident wouldn't have become such a big issue if he had just addressed it when everybody asked him to, right? When, like, to those people, not even publicly, right? If he had just apologized privately, this never would have been a situation, but he continued to make it a problem, right? He created this giant cascading event that could have been avoided by him just being less of a, you know, weirdo.
How did he create a giant cascading event? How did he do that? By just not responding to your gay questions on Instagram.
Okay.
Sorry, can I interject?
Yeah, for sure.
I think the way I see it is that, like, and my first mistake was I did a stream, and I spoke about this before. I shouldn't have streamed it, but personally, I didn't expect it to have kind of the reach that it did. If I had known that a lot of people would go on to watch it after, I definitely would have made a video so I could.
I'm sorry, but why should you have to apologize to random freaks crying his DMs? Yeah, I am also pretty perplexed on this one. Gotta be honest.
Cut everything up and kind of make it more coherent. But I think it's weird because when I was listening to you talk about how you took it as him calling him the annoying orange, I actually hadn't seen it. I didn't think of it from that perspective. In fairness, I can understand why, like, without context, without like the full picture, I can see how that may seem like an option. I think for me, and even I don't think Louis, sorry, I don't know if I got that wrong, covered this in his video.
Oh no, she don't know you, little bro. He made this whole video signal boosting her attack on this guy. She don't even know his name. Oh no.
But like he said, he obviously doesn't apologize for it. But to me, one-on-one, when we had this phone call, he admitted that it was wrong. I don't know if that was reiterated in the video that you just watched, but he told me he shouldn't have said it. And that he should have taken it more seriously. So when I made my stream, I was doing that with the knowledge that he knew what he was saying was wrong, and it wasn't him saying that Alex was the annoying orange. It was him just taking the piss, ultimately, just like trying to have a laugh about it. And ultimately, I agree with you. I don't think everything has to be that deep necessarily, but I do think with his entire platform talking about like abuse, and even I've heard him make comments talking about how people should be, like you say, like have more class when it comes to talking about abuse. So I think he's just a little bit of a hypocrite. And I think even if he was to come forward now and just be like, this is what I meant and I stand by it, I would genuinely respect that more than him just deleting comments and hiding and like
Absolutely.
Yeah, just like pretending he didn't do it. Because like I've said, like you've made a video on me before. Like I did my Lily Tina video, and it was a terrible video. Yeah, you did a video calling me out about the. It was a bad video.
I remember Lily Tino. I don't think is a particularly good person. I remember that one from what I remember bordered, in my perspective, a little.
Dude, this is like derailing. I want them to actually disagree about the video. Don't go about the video.
A little bit of transphobic, right? And I think it's one of those things where when somebody's like a bad person, you feel like you could say whatever to them. You know, I get it, but I understand.
Yeah,
what you're
it was
saying.
just some of my some of that, like, that wasn't like fully thought out. I do disagree that, like, people talk about YouTube slop, and I have a bit of a different like perspective on that, because the whole point of YouTube was to, you know, sit and talk about whatever you want and whatever you do. And like, I don't think there should be this standard that means like people can say this is just like slop content, because I think people expect a little bit too much from, like, if you're sitting and doing something you enjoy and you're sitting and talking about stuff, obviously it's an opinion whether it's slop content. But when it comes to obviously getting facts right and then making mistakes, I do think you have to like own up to that, especially if you know you have a platform. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I just had a question. So you said that you talked to him privately, and he said that he should have taken the situation more seriously.
This is so incoherent. I guess I had a better impression of this woman. She seemed like she could at least keep a train of thought in that stream, but this conversation is just nightmarish to listen to.
Seriously, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did he explicitly say that he was doing the annoying orange thing as a deflection, or did he just say he needed to take it more seriously? Because from my perspective,
this doesn't matter. This so does not matter.
To me, what happened here, if you want to answer, it sounds like he didn't explicitly say it. What it sounds like to me is you guys looked at it and you had this interpretation that he was just trying to like meme the situation, which now that I hear your perspective, I get why you have this reaction, where you thought he was saying, when he's like, why are you following this abusive piece of shit? Which we know ImAllexx is. Like, he's one of the very few times where like this is like a legitimate threat to society, unironically.
Yeah.
So we know this is like a legitimate piece of shit. And you're like, or that was you asking him, or some other person, or somebody asked him why you still follow this piece of shit, and he's like, oh, I don't follow the annoying orange. And you thought that he was just trying to pretend like he didn't know who ImAllexx is, and like, oh,
this annoying orange thing really does not matter that much. This is not an important part of this, I don't think.
Annoying orange, and he's memeing. So I get if you have that perspective, like you think he's a disrespectful piece of shit that's like invalidating, you know, every form of abuse out there. From my perspective, it sounds like he just thinks it's funny to call ImAllexx an annoying orange.
No, okay, why does he keep arguing this? This is so irrelevant. Oh, I just think he's calling ImAllexx the annoying orange. No, he was deflecting the question. But why does that matter? Who cares if he deflected the question?
Because I guess they share similar qualities, and that's his meme, and he thought that would resonate more. And
Can I ask you a question really quick then?
Sure. Well, hold. Yeah, just let me. I just want to let me finish my thing.
Sure.
And then when we come to this situation where he says he should take it more seriously, I agree with him based on my interpretation too. But since he said that, you feel like it affirmed your belief of his interpretation.
Okay,
when to me,
this
it
is
just
like excruciating to listen to.
Is him saying like, yeah, you know what? I shouldn't have called him the annoying orange. I should have just
Impression of Papa Gut quickly dropping. Impression of Papa Gut incredibly quickly dropping.
I'm an asshole or something, or just said like, yeah, I should have unfollowed ImAllexx. So I think that he's saying he should have taken it more seriously in the context of not calling him the annoying orange because it's immature, not that he was just trying to meme and deflect.
Yeah, I think, sorry, I think because, again, I don't think this was included in the video that you just watched, but when I had this phone call with him, when I asked him about it, he was very obviously acknowledging that like he shouldn't have said it. But when I asked him explicitly, because he reached out to me and he seemed nice, to be fair, like he was friendly to me. He was okay. He explained a lot about like what I should do differently on YouTube, but it's kind of like a little bit irrelevant.
Okay.
But he did say, when I asked him, are you still on contact with Alex? Like, are you friends with him? Do you work with him? He said no comment. He said, I don't want to talk about that. And he just couldn't tell me no. And obviously, being someone who is his friends with Alice, I was just like, well, I need to know that information, especially if you're reaching out to me, especially to try and, you know, exchange YouTube advice and that kind of stuff. I just felt it was really weird timing too, because I released this big video. I've done a couple of videos actually where I've spoke about my own experiences, and I just found it really weird that he would reach out to me and then he couldn't even tell me like, no, I'm not in contact with Alex anymore. And I think that to me made it.
Why does he have to tell you that?
Like,
I understand that. Did you happen to record the conversation you had with him?
The really annoying thing is I did. And I had it on my computer for a really long time. My boyfriend edits my videos and it was on an SD card. I'm trying to figure out how to retrieve it. But then when I've spoken to people about like whether I'd be able to like, you know, release it, it's a different story because I didn't tell him I was recording.
Yeah, I get the whole like, I get like the legal potential aspect, and then also that like weird behind the scenes creator boundary. I understand that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say the whole that he won't denounce ImAllexx even in private. Like that definitely to me sounds concerning, considering we know the kind of person
It's
ImAllexx
concerning
is.
and it's strange.
Yeah.
But the question I wanted to ask you is that you were trying to make this this difference between him making a joke or deflecting, and I think that it's pretty a big potential that he's doing both. You know, like he's trying to make a joke to deflect, or deflecting while making a joke. And either way, if it's both or neither, if it's both or either, it's still an issue.
Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, we're never going to know exactly how he feels unless he tells us. And then, like, if he's watching this, he could literally just listen to what I'm saying and just say, "Oh, I actually meant that," and he gets a free pass. Like, let's just be absolutely honest here. There's really no winning in the situation.
Which would be a problem.
Yeah. But to me, I try to be reasonably faith, I guess, about somebody. He looks like a young, well, he's like 20 years old, I think. He looks like a young, probably a little edgy because he's a young man that thinks beef curtains is funny, and that thinks that comparing people to the annoying orange is funny. Probably socially enough, which a lot of YouTubers can be. I'm not calling you guys that, just to be clear. Sometimes they like, especially.
Who cares?
I'm pretty sure he's older than I am. That's the thing. I'm also very young.
Oh, you're 20. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure he is 21.
Oh, well, he's
wow.
Yeah, he's
still
21.
Young. He's still very young, you know. And I feel like he just kind of was being immature about something he probably should have taken seriously, but he wasn't trying to. When we say deflect, I interpret that as he's trying to downplay the negatives of ImAllexx by pretending he doesn't even know what you're talking about. But
which you could be doing by making a joke out of it.
Maybe. I just think that he thought that it was funny, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't have followed the annoying orange." Like trying to say he's a piece of shit, and almost trying to have a little camaraderie around the person who also thinks he's a piece of shit. It's definitely down. I think it's downplaying, but I don't think the intention is there for him to be malicious. That's the only thing that I don't think.
Do you think though, if that was the case, he would he should have told me when we spoke, like, yeah, no, I don't work with him, and I said, like, he could have explained that to me on the spot.
Yeah, I think that, like, if he's still friends with ImAllexx, like, that's extraordinarily concerning.
Why is that concerning?
Shows that he doesn't care about abuse, or he's just very young, naive, immature.
Wait. If you're friends with someone who's done something abusive, it means you don't care about abuse? How the fuck does that make sense? Dude, what is this?
And possibly doesn't even care enough about like a female perspective.
Nobody just, seriously, out in the real world, nobody just cuts off one of their friends because they did something bad in a relationship. You know, you can be friends with people who have done bad things and reasonably hold your friends accountable in the ways that you can. Yeah, I agree that if you're just like friends with someone and blowing smoke up their ass and acting like they did nothing wrong and they're such a good guy and so amazing and they're being cancelled, yeah, that's obviously bad. You're behaving in a bad way then. But the idea that you just can't be friends with anyone that's ever done a bad thing. What?
Which is
a big point in the video you just watched was my whole thing about what you just said, right? If you are making content, and almost everything he makes is about abuse, and usually it involves a woman on either side, right? So if you're going to be friends
most
with
abusive
an abuser,
situations
or even
will have a woman on either side, you know.
Correct. Yes. Which is the point, right? If you're going to need this perspective, this point of view to make this content and not just be a jackass, right? If you're going to make content about a woman's abuse and
okay, Loki Go, how does that make any sense for making a fucking video about it? Yeah, if you don't want to be friends with your friend's ex's friend, then don't be friends with your friend's ex's friend. How is that worth a video? Why is that a public call out? Why does he have to address that publicly?
Either way, then you have to understand that abusive people are not those to coddle. They're not those to...
No, the call was before she made the video.
You know, hold dear. They're people to, sure, talk with and understand, but not to forgive, not to work with and take advice from. Because according
she streamed about it
to him, and in certain situations, he might still be taking tutelage from ImAllexx, which is a big issue, right?
Sure, that's probably
thumbnail design. If they have the same content design, they do the same editing technique.
That would be well, the whole similar content style. I mean, that's how all these types of communities work in general. Like, there's usually a community, and then everybody copies the same style.
Similar. It's almost the same.
Well, yeah, but that's how like all of them are in a lot of, like, if you look at Sunny V2 videos, there's like 1,000 Sunny V2 clones. There's a ton of different clones in every community. There's usually like somebody that's a leader. So that by itself, all I'm saying is that by itself doesn't communicate to me he's still talking with him. If in private he's dancing around it, like, I can understand that making you feel uncomfortable. Totally get it. But that's so far, that's the only thing that like really is saying something to me, is like, oh, he's still maybe too comfortable with ImAllexx in private, but I feel like that's not enough to warrant like super intense energy. And then also, sorry, I just want
we're getting that. Maybe Papa Gut's getting somewhere. We'll see.
when I
Okay.
look at his content, like nothing that he's doing is particularly interesting or original. It's all the public narrative about the person he's talking about has already been set. He can just take what people are already saying, interpret it with his whatever humor or whatever he has, and then put out a video with very little intellectual perspective on it. Like, he's not analyzing a situation. He's like, okay, what are people saying about Blake Lively on TikTok or whatever else, he's talking about,
Right,
the
which he's
17
allowed to
papers.
do, right.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't think that a lot of people have like this there are very few YouTubers who sit down and try to really sit down and analyze specific behaviors and why people.
I do. I'm one of the smart ones. I'm one of the really smart people that Public Gut's talking about right now. That's me. I'm really smart and original.
Are engaging in specific
Yeah.
behaviors. He's just pumping out content, which most people do. So for me, like, this deep level of education that he should or shouldn't have, I don't really. He's not doing anything.
It's not a deep level of education. It's a basic understanding of respect, is what I view it as. If you're going to, even if you cover people you don't like, right? For instance, this video about Jesse, I wanted to make it still with a little respect in my heart for him as a human, right? He needs to live, he needs to make money, right? That's why I make it clear I don't want to end his career. That's not at all my prerogative. My whole goal is for him to be truthful with his audience. I'm not here to be malicious because I have a basic respect for him as a human, right? And if you don't have that, then you can't make YouTube videos in good faith, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not the YouTube police.
Says the Sonic playing PNG tuber. Okay. It's a GIF. And also, Sonic requires free thought, okay? The public narrative, the people, the powers that be want you to think that Sonic sucks. And it's like this autistic, terrible game that only retards enjoy. But you have to actually wake up from the conditioning that is forced upon you and realize, actually, no, this is based and awesome to enjoy it. So it's actually a sign of free thought that I enjoy Sonic.
I can't make him stop making videos. I don't want to make him stop making videos. My whole thing is that if you're going to make this content and then be a jackass about things in private, then you're subject to scrutinization because of these strange actions and words that he said.
Sure. One thing I want to say is that, like, you had mentioned that he wasn't real willing to apologize in private. But then you had mentioned when you had a conversation that he seemed to acknowledge and apologize specifically for the joke that he made about the annoying orange. So it sounds like he is trying. Maybe he's not giving you the exact answer that you want, and maybe it's not satisfactory.
Couldn't be like, I'm so original. Let's re-listen to this call I had on our live stream yesterday for 3 hours. Yeah, but the thoughts I gave in that call the day before would have been really original. I'm just making sure that my whole audience gets to see them.
In some instances, like, again, not like disavowing ImAllexx, but it sounds like
Well,
he's trying
but he
to.
did not respond to me.
Okay,
You guys keep trying. You keep trying.
In this, given the scenario, she's the one that matters more. The three of us, right? Because she's the one that has the the past, and she's the one that would take it more personally, which is understandable. So she would be the one that matters in his response to anybody, I would say. And you're friends with the girl that ImAllexx.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of connection there. So it makes sense for him to respond to her. It makes sense for him not to respond to you, and that's not me criticizing you, but it makes sense why he wouldn't respond to you specifically.
Yeah, I think the other part to it that kind of made me continue to like talk about it publicly was that when we had the call, he also said, when I asked him like, "Are you still in contact with Alex?" He made the like, "I don't want to talk about that" comment, and then proceeded to talk about it and tell me how Alex gave him his career. Like, if it wasn't for Alex, his family wouldn't have like had food on the table. Like, Alex paid his bills. He owes him a lot. Like, he couldn't just drop him. And again, the reason why I haven't really pushed that much is because I don't have the evidence to back that up. And I know that if he wants, and that is completely fair, he can say that he never said that. Like I said, I did have a screen recording of it. I could try and recover it, but again, I just don't want to set this kind of idea that like I'm gonna leak calls that I haven't even asked.
I get what you're saying.
No, yes, understood.
But I also think it was interesting to hear your perspective about kind of like comments he makes and how he's just like immature and he doesn't really think, because I do agree that sometimes people can kind of come across as terrible people without having a lot of intent. And I don't necessarily think that he intends to come across as an asshole. I don't think like he's the most evil guy ever, and I agree like with
Dude, like, I just don't even know what their complaint is. He was dismissive to you in DMs. I don't
saying, which is I don't think he should be cancelled. I don't really think that. I don't really agree with that anyway. It just doesn't really make sense to me. I don't unless you've done something like criminalizing.
Like,
I don't really think. Yeah, like I don't think there's. And then in that case, like it's not being cancelled. It's like it's a completely different topic.
Yeah.
But I think he could just do himself like so many favors, and I guess it depends how you view controversy.
Dude, please finish a thought. Please finish a thought without just jumping to a different one.
But to me, if
holy
I'm
fuck, this is horrible.
A large amount of people criticize me. For example, when you made the video about me, and I'll watch it and I'll take into consideration the points, and I'll talk to other people and I'll read the comments.
I know a Destiny fan who dropped all his friends because they disapprove of his use of the N-word in private. I support that guy, actually. I support that dude, yeah.
And I'll come to a conclusion of like...
That's just a comedy mail. That's just a comedy mail. Knowing, realizing, coming to terms with the fact that everyone is out to get him. That in life, if you're a guy who likes being funny, that everyone in the world is out to rape and kill you, leave you dead in the gutter.
Like... do I need to say something about this, or can I just leave it? And
yeah,
for me,
yeah,
when it came to my thing, I was like, with you know the kind of turf comments and people thinking I was transphobic. Obviously, I can't say, well, that's your fault for perceiving it that way, because it's completely on me for doing a video that just didn't come across that great. And then I have to take responsibility for that. Even if I don't think inside I'm like a terrible person and I intended it, it's about acknowledging why people feel that way and at least just responding.
Yeah, well, I think that as a content creator, there are always times when people are going to criticize you for something you did wrong, and you're not going to immediately see it because it takes time. If you do immediately flip, then that means you have no conviction. That's what I'd say. But sometimes it takes time for it to settle in, and you don't necessarily have to have a public,
that's deep,
like,
Papa.
okay, guys, I had this big turn of beef. I thought about this for 2 days.
That's deep as
Sometimes
fuck.
things take a while, and especially in this scenario. If what you're saying is true, that ImAllexx gave him a career, we're talking about a young person. I would totally understand why, even though he's wrong, why he has too much charity for ImAllexx. Like, it's not right. But if this person was some kind of poor, and then and ImAllexx gave him a lot of, basically gave him an entire opportunity, which, knowing ImAllexx, it's possible that literally is almost like an abuse tactic, right? Like, he wants to get people around.
He was abusing DankyJabo. He was abusing DankyJabo by getting him into content creation.
Him by doing favors for them, not because he likes them, but because he wants a favor from them in the future. It makes sense why he wouldn't feel the ability to publicly disavow ImAllexx. I don't think it's right. I also don't think he's malicious for that. I think that that's almost probably... I mean, if we really want to get into it, probably a we're gonna get like really fucking woke here. It's almost like a negative aspect of like toxic masculinity, where you feel like you have to run, to stick by your friends.
Wow, Papa God, thank you, Papa God.
Regardless of the controversy they're in, because that's what friends do, and that's what men do. I know we got a little.
Maybe he's just still friends with the guy, despite him doing bad things, and he looks at him and thinks, "Well, this guy's done some fucked up stuff, but he's also got some positive traits about him, and I don't want to just completely abandon him because he's done something bad." Is that really so fucking horrible? Is that really so evil?
Woke there, but like that might be true. All right. I don't know specifically. I do know what it's like to be like a young guy, so I'm obviously gonna be more charitable like young guys. That's and excuse my ignorance on that. But I just don't think that he's a malicious person. I think
I have the opposite stance as a young man in today's day and age. We were young men at different times, obviously.
Shut up, man. Holy fuck.
But I'm still a young man, okay? And as
I'm still a young man, okay? And as a young man,
as a treasure, I like criticism. I like when people tell me their position, even if it is in complete disagreement with me. I find it to be almost like another brick in the house that is my career. If I don't build with criticism, then I'm gonna fall apart, okay?
Bro, this is so unbearable. I love criticism. Actually, I love criticism. I seek it out. This guy sounds like fucking Hassan, man. Except with none of the masculinity.
I see other people like me, young men in the world of content creation, trying to make a name for themselves. When I see how easy it is for me as a person who, again, sorry to be woke, I'm more left-leaning than right, so I don't,
Sure, yeah,
I don't mind being a little
sorry
woke,
to be woke.
As somebody who has suffered with many different mental disabilities, I do not and right, so I don't,
Sure, yeah,
I don't mind being a little woke. But as somebody who has suffered with many different mental disabilities,
many different He suffered with many different mental disabilities. What? Thank you for the $4.99, Kayla Velta. Kayla Velta. Thank you, Vetla. I don't know, man. Thank you for the $4.99. He was promised a career 5,000 years ago. Thank you.
I do not like using them as excuse. Who has suffered with many different mental disabilities. I do not like using them as excuses. I don't care, right? I like to be the best man I can, even as a younger man in the world of content creation.
With many different mental disabilities.
All right, and when I see other people say, well, he's just a young man, he might not know. I'm a young man. I know.
With many different mental disabilities.
It's that easy for you to figure out that you are wrong, or when other people for telling you are wrong from that side, for instance, women telling you that what you said is wrong, and then you just brush it off and don't care, when it's as easy for me, another young man, to care, to not brush it off, to listen to those people and apologize. I do not see the excuse for him, because it's just that easy.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I think.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I kind of agree with that, because I think a lot of the time people do get away with stuff kind of under the idea of, well, that they're still learning, but I don't think that necessarily comes down to a young man thing. I think that's just young people in general. And although I do agree that there is an element of that.
The reason, okay, why are they so dumb? Let's just remember how the conversation went. The reason Papa Gut said young men is because he was saying there was some masculine standard of sticking by your friends. That was where his point came from. And then I said, well, it's not a young man thing. It's like, well, no, that is specifically, that is like a masculine standard. But whatever. But whatever. It's a stupid point anyway. None of this matters. He's allowed to be friends with ImAllexx if he wants to. I don't understand why he has to answer to other people about that. I agree he should probably make a statement about it and say, ImAllexx bad, just for the sake of being consistent on his channel. But you don't get to dictate who other people are friends with, and there's no... What's the impetus? What is the impetus you're placing on someone to drop someone as a friend just because they did something bad in a relationship, just because they were abusive towards a partner? I don't understand why that requires you to drop them as a friend. I agree you should be, upfront and hold them accountable. I agree with all that. Why should you have to drop them?
To consider, because, like, I wouldn't want to be crucified for every mistake and everything I've said online that I regret, obviously. But I do think this situation is just slightly different, because all of his videos are about abuse, and I don't. There's no problem with that. Look, I don't care. I don't think you necessarily have to have been through abuse to talk about abuse. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I talk about things that I've not been through, and I think.
I mean, Louis Mcclung talks about abuse. He's never even been in a relationship, so
a pretty valid and nuanced stance on them. But I think when you're talking about, like, if you listen to his videos and you listen to his attitude, and he knows how to talk about abuse in a relatively good way in his videos, so yeah,
because he's parroting TikTok, so it just placates you.
It just makes you think, if he is just stupid and naive, why
he's obviously stupid. He just parrots what he reads on TikTok.
Doesn't that come across as much in his videos when he talks about abuse? Because he knows,
because he's parroting what other people say on TikTok.
He knows exactly.
It's placating you, because that's all you want to hear, is stuff that confirms your biases.
How to talk about it in videos. And then, to me, knowing the context of his relationship with Alex, their past, what he's done for him, it was just like that kind of joke, whether it's a joke about Alex being the annoying orange or deflection, is just poor taste. And yes, that doesn't make him an evil monster, but I think running and avoiding, like, people will say, well, I wouldn't reply either, like, if I had a mob of people on me. But I think, like I said, because he talks about abuse, I think you kind of should reply, and if you don't, it does just
a response to his audience in which he says the opposite opinion too.
What do you mean?
Well, he will always say that, well, abuse is the worst, right? And as we can all agree, abuse is one of the worst things in the world, right? And he will always talk about.
I don't agree with that.
And then behind
no, I don't agree with that.
He will.
I don't think abuse is one of the worst things in the world. I can probably come up with a bunch of stuff that's worse than abuse. What do you mean it's one of the worst? It's bad. What do you mean abuse is one of the worst things in the world? Worse than the genocide in Gaza right now? Really? Worse than the genocide in Gaza right now, Louis Mcclung? Is that what you think?
Will make a joke about it, right? And instead of saying and denouncing that, he will instead just run away from it and try to hide the fact that he did this. That's the problem.
Sure, yeah, and I get that he deleted messages too, but again, like, it seems like he did apologize to some extent in private.
Worse than rape? Really? Worse than murder?
So
Disavow Israel right now. Condemn Israel right now, Louis Mcclung.
But again, like, it seems like he did apologize to some extent in private. So I don't know the exact thing going through his mind, but it's not like he wasn't trying. I don't think that like he was necessarily always running away. Maybe he's getting advice behind the scene of what he should or shouldn't do, or how he should or shouldn't respond to the controversy.
I think he is.
It's probably true. I mean, a lot of content creators will get that. I have people who reach out to me and ask me like what they think they should do. Sometimes you just don't say anything.
I think with Alex personally,
it could be. I don't really know. When it comes to the way that he talks in his videos, I've never watched his video before. It sounds like you guys are saying that he seems to have a pretty intelligent understanding of abuse. I might be true. I almost doubt it, and the reason is because people know how to recite things. Just because you've memorized a script in some capacity, you've heard other people say a thing, doesn't mean that you have a deep understanding of it. And so for him to make potentially good points about different abuse doesn't necessarily mean that he analyzed the situation and came up with like, okay, this is probably what they're feeling here. It's more likely to me he watched someone else's video or he watched someone else's coverage and they said something and he said, I'm going to take that and I'm going to regurgitate that and it's going to make me sound intelligent. So I wouldn't doubt that. A lot of people perform. I could be wrong. Maybe he's like super emotionally intelligent. Very doubtful by the way that he interacts. He seems like a very emotionally unintelligent person, which again, from my perspective, I used to be very emotionally unintelligent. It took me a very long time to generate that. I don't know that he's as educated. To me, I think that you guys understandably had an interpretation of this situation of the annoying orange. We'll call it the great annoying orange controversy. And you had an interpretation and I have an interpretation, and we don't know which one is necessarily correct. But I think that when you look through everything through your lens, I understand where you're coming from, but maybe it's possible that that lens isn't necessarily correct. And some of these other things.
DankyJabo looks like Darius. Gringle, stop being racist. What the fuck? You're just saying that because they're both light skins.
They need that support structure, that lens, in order to be accurate. But to me, since that lens isn't there, I think it's more likely that he was just making a joke about calling Alex annoying orange and then calling him a gaslighter. I'm not on the same page with you guys. Like,
Dude, the annoying orange joke doesn't fucking matter. Why does he keep bringing it back to the fucking annoying orange joke?
I agree with everything that you guys have to say.
Get me out!
Yeah,
Get me out!
Let's run with that for a second. Let's say it was just a needless joke, okay? He still deleted messages. He still had to apologize for it in private and then tried to erase any proof that he ever did talk about this, i.e. the deleting of messages that he had with Katie. And then he moved forward with it and then tried to act like there was some kind of controversy. And in one of his videos, he said, put in the comments below that I did something terrible, right? Covering up all of this that was happening, which is one of the biggest things that really stands out to me, is his covering up of things directly on his YouTube channel, right? And then he moves forward, keeps making videos about this abuse and whatnot because it's what gets views, right? So I see all of this, right? I see Katie's video. I see him continuing to cover these things with a lack of nuance. Apparently in one of his videos, he said that a woman cannot be beautiful if she is a mother. Apparently that's what he said. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Did you see him say it?
Yeah, I saw that.
I have not watched the video yet.
I would just make sure you confirm it within full context, because sometimes you don't want to get into a situation where like you're affirming something.
Bro, who cares about making dumb misogynist jokes in his videos? Oh my god!
Without like 100%, you know.
Oh my god.
But again, like, let's say he did all that, right?
Yeah.
Then my problem still stands is that he is lying to his community. If you have to boil down what my issue is, what really makes me angry is that he is lying to his community on so many different axes that he didn't have.
Okay, now you're selling me. Liars? I hate liars. I fucking hate liars so much. They're lying. Lying is the worst thing in the world.
To his community. If you have to boil down what my issue is, what really makes me angry is that he is lying to his community on so many different axes that he didn't have to lie to them on. He could have just outright made like a community post and said, this happened, I'm sorry, yada yada. But he didn't. He tried to cover it up verbatim, put something in the comments that I'm a bad person. And that's not okay. That's why my energy in that video was terrible and angry.
I have a question.
Can I just add?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you can. Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, I think as someone who makes videos on abusers, but also has made videos like an hour-long video talking about my own experiences, I know firsthand that you kind of gather
Guys, shut up, listen, and learn. Okay, she's talking about her experiences, her truth, her
as
story.
someone who makes videos on abusers, but also has made videos like an hour-long video talking about my own experiences. I know firsthand that you kind of gather an audience.
Guys, a black woman is speaking. Be quiet.
Who makes videos on abusers, but also has made videos like an hour-long video talking about my own experiences. I know firsthand that you kind of gather an audience of people who can relate to you. I mean, you gather an audience of people who have been abused or have been in situations like that and kind of find like solace in your videos. So I think almost putting myself in Jesse's situation and, you know, acknowledging that he will have a massive audience.
He's Jesse, right? The Danky.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, sorry, I just want to clarify. Okay.
I'm clapping at the screen right now. So true.
That can relate. I mean, if you look at the comments, it's people talking about their experiences of abuse. So I think ultimately it boils down to, like you said, you may have a different interpretation, but knowing the call that I had with him, knowing what he said, his attitude, like the way he spoke to me in general, watching the comments he makes in his other videos, I don't think he's like the most evil person who is like out to, you know, just harm everybody. But I do think he is immature, and I think if you don't have that
probably he's 21
maturity, then either apologize and continue making videos about abuse, or just maybe don't make it like your primary topic. Because to me, I don't mind having abuse as my primary topic. It's something that I speak about a lot, and I don't mind doing that because I know that like where I'm coming from is like usually correct. But I also know if I was to say something that someone disagreed with, I'm gonna hear them out, or I'm gonna
abuse is my area of expertise.
About my perspective.
I'm very practiced.
And just another thing I wanted to add, I know it's not as relevant, but there was the kind of debate on whether beef curtains was like offensive or not.
Really quick, before we get to beef curtains, because I have no problem talking about that. Just give me 1 second.
Before we talk about the beef curtains,
I have one thing.
Let's hash one thing out. Let's get one thing straight.
No, let me just write that down. You guys mentioned before.
Let me just note that down. Beef curtains.
Or that he's trying to like backtrack everything and kind of delete everything and get rid of everything, and the intention there is that he's trying to suppress the information. That's what it seemed. That's what I'm getting out of it. Is that a correct?
Yes, correct.
Have you ever thought about why he told you he was deleting his Discord messages? Because didn't he he said, I'm gonna delete them now. And
he said it was making him uncomfortable. Obviously,
very childish, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I
just thought
no grace, pure pleasure.
The only reason I'm asking is because to me, if he was trying to suppress the information, he wouldn't give you a heads up that he's about to delete everything. To me, he would have just started deleting stuff so that you wouldn't have an opportunity to screenshot.
No grace, pure pleasure might be one of the most disgusting phrasings that this little, I don't even know, I don't want to call it community, that's really gay, but circle of content creators and Discords has ever generated. It's despicable.
I think he knew, based on me having been in that call with him and me then messaging him again, I think he kind of had this feeling that I potentially may have spoke about it publicly, which is why he was like saying, oh, you know, no hard feelings, and then tried to make out that like I was as bad as him for, quote, policing his social media. So I think he did know.
Saving Rao was a canon event, okay? Sweeping from Rao was canon. Had to be done. Things would have turned out so differently otherwise.
Like I was as bad as him for, quote, policing his social media. So I think he did know from the start, or was very worried that I was going to, because obviously he was growing quite fast. I mean, he'd like shot up subs wise so quick. I think he knew. I mean, he knows what the internet's like. And I wasn't planning on talking about it publicly. It was until those last messages, and then when I messaged him again to try and talk to him, he just wouldn't respond. And then I was just like, well, you know, I'm not gonna watch you talk about abuse all the time. Contact me to try and be my friend, and then you can't even give me the decency of just explaining yourself without deleting messages. Like, to me, I was just like, well,
to me, and that might be what it is. To me, I find it a little strange that he would delete them and announce it, because he's giving you the opportunity. He's basically saying, hey, you should probably screenshot these when he does something like that.
Hear me out. Maybe
he's just an idiot.
Okay, maybe
or maybe maybe it's one of those out of sight, out of mind things. Like, I've deleted messages from like ex-girlfriends because I'm upset. You know what I mean? I could be too charitable. All I'm saying is I don't know if he necessarily was being malicious, or if he's it's almost like an emotional thing for him.
They're so desperate to get this guy on what?
Yeah, let's talk about beef. Let's talk
Okay,
about
can I
beef
start
curtains.
Let's get into the beef curtains.
Yeah,
Can I
go
start
ahead.
with
I'll leave
it?
that to you, Katie.
Okay.
I'll leave that to you.
So,
Pressing
pretty
stuff.
much, again, I don't think either of you have really seen my videos, but recently a lot of my content is about the effects of like, I don't know if I can say, can I like say things on here?
Yeah,
Will I
whatever.
get you like?
Like what? Like just don't say like actual racial slurs and we're good. Like don't say like slurs. And we're good.
A lot of my videos have been like talking about porn, and like just the effects of it on society and like general attitudes that kind of seep through into media. And for me, because I saw a few arguments saying, well, beef curtains is a term I've heard forever. You know, I used to work in a builder's yard and they used to say that all the time. But to me, that isn't an argument, because you could say that about pretty much any derogatory term, that it was used a lot and people have become desensitized to it. Obviously, I'm not gonna police people. If you want to, if that's something you want to say, you can say it. It's not enough to get you arrested. You know, it's not a slur, but it is factually derogatory towards women. And I think a lot of the time when I hear people say that, it may be from a place of kind of not being educated, but I think that is the problem in general.
Sometimes being derogatory is funny. Unfortunately, hate to tell you, but being derogatory is actually one of the easiest ways to be funny.
I mean, I heard you say that you didn't understand why it was offensive, or I don't really know what your stance was on that. And again, it's such a minor thing from him. Do I think that makes him a terrible person? Again, no. But it's comments like that that come from him, as well as like a plethora of other comments that he's made that just come across that he is very I want to say slightly misogynistic, and I'm not throwing that term around loosely. I do think a lot of the things he says, he may not hate women per se, but when he makes comments like that,
this is what we're making videos about. This guy's got slightly misogynistic attitudes. This is what we're making videos about now, guys. This is where we're at.
And again, the mother comment about how mothers can't be sexy. Again, I don't know if the context is fully there for that, so I won't go too much.
Yeah, I would just have to see that. I mean, there could be a pattern of not being respectful of women. It's totally possible. I don't really know. My thing with beef curtains is I don't think in today's society it's this outward intentional misogynistic term to use to like break down women. Maybe it used to be. I don't know. I think it's more of just kind of a gross way to refer to a girl's vagina, and I think that he just thought it was funny. I don't think it was.
I actually okay. Why do people do this? This is just like pissing me off now, because it's like I'm not on board with like the hand wringing that Katie here is doing. But also, Papagut is just engaging in the most brain-dead analysis. Like, of it, it's like insulting guys for having a small dick. It's like that. Insulting women for having long labia or whatever. It's like a similar thing. It's obviously derogatory towards that gender. It's obviously attempting to prey on the standards that are set for appearance for that gender. That's what's going on in a sexual way too. So it adds sort of like an extra element. But it's like, what? Yeah, okay, the guy's slightly misogynistic. What? Yeah, most guys are. Okay, cool. Is this like really worth a video? Is this something you're gonna get that up in arms about?
I think again, it's difficult because
it's about a mindset, not necessarily intention.
Yes, and that's the thing. He may not intend. But I would disagree. I think it was previously a more accepted term. Now it's more derogatory because of things like porn, because of the standards to women's genitalia. So I do think, especially maybe it's just not a part of the internet that you're on, but there is already so much discourse about the appearance of women's parts. And always in a negative way as well.
Oh,
so
are you trying to
like
say that like the whole beef curtain thing is him saying that that's like an ugly vagina? Is that what you're trying to say?
No,
well, that's
I think
if you ever see people online, and again, it's because of the side of the internet I'm on, because I talk about porn a lot. But if you ever see that term, it is always used as a way to insult the way a woman's vagina looks. Like, it's always been used like that. Obviously they use it in other terms, usually in kind of joking ways. So maybe that was a joke, but it doesn't change the fact that it, to most women, and again, there will be women out there that say, I don't really care, I don't mind. But to a lot of women, especially that understand why it's used, it is just quite like unnecessary.
Well,
I think.
sure. I would say it's on the same level
well
as I'd say it's the same level as.
I hate arguments like this where you like define what's offensive or what's like dehumanizing or whatever based on how the group being spoken about responds to it. because it is not going to be the same for everyone. And you should be able to make a logical argument about why the meaning of the statement or the meaning of the joke is dehumanizing or degrading or whatever. You should be able to actually justify that, like textually almost, right? It shouldn't be about, oh, well, these people find it offensive, so...
Saying the guy has like a pencil dick, right? Like it's, I think it's kind of like the same thing. I wouldn't say you're being derogatory if you said. I mean, I guess you technically are, but I wouldn't care. Like it's just like a little. It's just like I guess a kind of a rude comment, but it's not that big of a deal.
I see what you're saying,
yeah.
right? Let me add something really quick. It's not necessarily that standing alone is the biggest issue, right? If that is the only thing he had done, we would not be here. It's the fact that it is on top of everything else, and in a vacuum it wouldn't do anything, but in this room with all of these different things that point towards him having a misogynistic tone or a mindset or being in these spheres online or having possibly in the past been in these spheres, it adds to this idea that he might have or still be in the mindset of somebody who is misogynistic, whether it's on purpose or not. And it's seeping into his content. That is what this kind of points towards. And it is still an issue if he doesn't, like acknowledge that that is a derogatory term, and using it to refer to people is not necessarily a good thing.
Okay. A genuine question. Do you feel like you properly communicated that in your video?
I mean, there are plenty of things I'd like to properly communicate in videos, but I try to make them shorter so that I'm not wasting people's time.
Wow.
I get that. I think that
I'm also very theatrical.
That's fine.
Persona.
I think that if that was what you wanted to communicate, that would have been a better focus of the video, because I think a lot of that video was just kind of making a lot of assumptions about the way that about what his intentions are with things. I think if you showed more that he's constantly has a pattern of saying misogynistic things, especially towards the beginning, to kind of prime the audience to understand what his potential mental framework would be, that would have maybe communicated things better to me. But so far, we have the beef curtains thing.
I really do.
We have the beef curtains thing, and then potentially he said single moms are ugly. I mean, I see a lot worse every day. I do talk about like a lot of red pills. So,
of course, yes.
To me,
and
it doesn't sound
worse stuff. Those people make that content. He makes the opposite content. So for him to have that mindset can be problematic.
Yeah, I was just.
Okay, that's reasonable. Okay, first reasonable thing I've heard from Louis Mcclung here is, yes, obviously if his stated values are super left, woke, pro-victim or whatever, and then he's not exemplifying that in his actions, yeah, okay, better criticism there. But that should be the focus, not just bitching that he's friends with a guy. It should be, if you're going to talk about this sort of thing, it should be focused on, here are stated values, here's how he's not living up to them.
I was going to say, I've seen some horrible videos. I mean, there's this one group who kind of do like a Keemstar style podcast. They made a video on me. It was like 4 hours long.
The Fresh and Fit.
It was the most like
Keemstar style
grim
podcast
video I've ever seen, and like they were just saying the worst things about me, and they were genuinely very misogynistic. But the thing is, I wasn't as I didn't really care about that, because like you said, I see it and I'm like, well, I don't expect anything different, because that is
covered
what
her?
That's what you are proudly kind of identifying as, is just.
Yeah, this is way more reasonable. Why do they never state this in any of the other content that's about the stated values? Jesus,
whereas
man.
when it's somebody who is pretending to be morally virtuous, I think that's what annoys me more. If you're someone who presents themselves to be like morally good with everything, you've got the best opinions, like you never say anything wrong, and then when you do something wrong, you can't apologize for it. I think that proves to me that everything you speak about, you probably aren't speaking like the truth from.
I get that,
because I think I think with content creators.
Is this the Keemstar styled podcast she's talking about? Is it now recording?
Gonna be werewolves.
I guess. Oh God, I hate this. But okay, yeah. So in Twilight, what ends up happening is, so there's the thing between. Okay.
All right, now let's get into this.
Like, we're not, which is something I'll get onto later in the video. I don't like to
it's a bullshit claim.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like.
Okay.
Cringe TikTok compilations, we like to watch things that are depression inducing. It's getting to a point now where I think people are.
All I'm saying is the kids are not all right. This is all I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
You know?
I'm sorry, but like when you relate something and you say, You know, that's why we watch cringe TikTok compilations, you know, because they're depression inducing, you know. That's why you like hearing about children getting preyed on. You like that feeling of depression. Is that what you like?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but that's why I was saying the kids are not all right, because it's like, well, how many people are going on TikTok just going, I want to be depressed. I need to find something that's going to depress me.
D-Max cameo
likes to criticize a lot. The blonde girl that went after Gabby Hanna.
Okay, I can't even figure out what the fucking point is here.
Plausible deniability. You
can't introduce plausible deniability when you're saying everybody else who's talking about this guy is in the wrong for making fun of him and bringing light to it. Like, what the hell are you talking about right now?
Oh, did she call out? She made the mistake of thinking that anyone who covers lolcow shit actually gives a fuck about predators or victims. I have immediately divined this entire drama. I don't even need to watch any of the videos related to this drama, and I can tell you exactly what happened. This is because I'm just clairvoyant like that. So, Smokey MCC made a video on this Jupiter person, TikTok's worst degenerate, who's obviously some kind of predator who's going after kids or teenagers on TikTok. And the whole video was probably dumb as hell, didn't do anything to move the situation forward or attempt to stop them from preying on anyone, and was just like, haha, look at this fat, disgusting predator. And then Katiclyzm made a video being like, if you guys actually care about pedophiles and victims, you should probably handle this with a bit more grace that, you know, tries to actually resolve the situation instead of just making fun of it and antagonizing the person. And then everyone else was like, but they're exposing pedophiles. Smokey McCrack exposed a pedophile. Smokey McCrack exposed a pedophile. Why are you trying to defend pedophiles, Katie? Why are you trying to defend pedophiles? I guarantee you that was this whole. Let's have a look. Expose.
He's been exposed as a predator, and then the funny thing then becomes fucking with them, right? Yeah. Because you get involved. It's the internet. You can say whatever the fuck you want to on the internet. The best you can do is expose.
Yeah, and
despair.
It's just like so predictable.
I like
money off of it.
It's so predictable. It's crazy how I can get this whole drama by just looking at it once. Let's see if there's any use of the word defense.
What? When we do this, she's going to be like, oh, you guys don't think he's a predator or a pedophile? Trying to defend him? No. Watch the beginning of this video. We very clearly think this guy's fucked up and he's a pedo.
Right.
Yeah. We're defending the pedo because we're criticizing her.
Oh, hell no.
No. Because she's already tried to do that on Twitter with the other
Oh,
people.
she pulled that.
It's just messed up.
Oh, she pulled that strategy. Oh, that is a twist I didn't see. She pulled the you're defending pedophile strategy. Now that I didn't see coming. I thought it'd have been the other way around. Usually it's the commentary guys pulling that one.
Defense office, and they're like, where's that guy that defended Chris Chan? We're going to send him to Jupiter.
I'd like to call my first witness to the stand.
Wow, we got most of it.
Is the way I see people that are genuine and speak from the heart is they usually do make mistakes. I think that's natural and normal. But I think if you are going to make those mistakes, what also makes you like morally virtuous is to be able to apologize for those mistakes.
Yeah, I understand
so
that. I will say that his apology may not have been satisfactory, but you know, again, it seemed like he did at least make an attempt at an apology. So it's not like he.
But he also subverted an answer to a question she asked him.
Sure, absolutely. I think it's more. You know, we were talking about nuance before. I think it's more than he didn't apologize, and you know what I mean. He seemed to have apologized poorly, and I just want to give him at least the credit for that. Just that we're So yeah.
Wow, this was a terrible debate. Papa got really fucked that one up. Well, he probably didn't because he probably actually thinks all that dumb shit. But not a very good conversation. Very boring. Okay, what did Larissa think about all this then? What was Larissa's take on this whole situation?
Divine punishment for helping it. Sense of society. It's the most like annoying thing. Okay, Nick A30 of like it's, and then say they weren't canceling someone, but they were putting out an accusation that obviously would.
That's it. That's spread. And Jesse is.
Dude, he made a joke about it. Okay, like I don't know, man. This is the main point against this guy. There's got to be something else.
Is just ignoring it.
Okay, yeah, I think Larissa's got the same take as me.
Video, and I've just been doing all this for money. I've just been having all these misogynistic beliefs because as Trump's going into America, it's much more profitable to say you hate women and fucking shit on these people. I don't know how that got there. All right, let's get into this.
Sassy men, if this doesn't get your beef curtains in a twist, then I don't know what will.
So I've been informed that that phrase is a derogatory one, misogyny, or porn,
or adult media,
or anything.
Heard sexualizing women.
Okay, okay. What's his summary here? What's his final take?
You say now, we will be watching with a keen eye the next 3 years. Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
Kid.
Guys, content. We will find each hypocrisy. We will find each little inconsistency. Every video. 184 videos. Louis Mcclung marathon. We will search out.
Any friends? I don't have any skeletons in my closet. I've had a very boring life, okay? I've been a straight edge kid. I've been a, I was in one musical. I didn't have any friends. I kind of just watched.
Theater kid. Okay. Come on, there's nothing wrong with theater kids. Just in this case, very obnoxious.
I've been a, I was in that turned out.
The leads that when he eventually gets outed for being friends, he will face. There will be no mercy.
I'm gonna be involved with some person, and they're gonna turn out to be terrible. I only wish what he is. I don't want him to be canceled. I don't want him to lose a job. I don't want him to be thrown off the face of the earth.
You literally said he doesn't deserve to do what he does.
Into a pit or whatever. What I want.
What cancel means?
Tell his audience the truth and stop lying to them. That's simply what I want. Audience member, my beautiful audience members, those who I cherish more than any earthly possession I have.
Okay, realistically though, why the fuck does he not talk like this? His videos would be so much less obnoxious if he just talked in his normal voice for his entire videos. Like, this is much less insufferable though. I don't know why this guy puts on this whole like act way. And they try to
I think he's just
Take it more seriously. So when I made my stream, I was doing that with the knowledge
on the same
that he was
page.
saying was wrong, and it wasn't him saying that Alex was the annoying range.
This is such a nothing topic. Who cares?
He shares the same opinion you have in regards to Lola Bunny. That's all you need to know. Wait, where's the... I think I saw him pulling up Space Jam. Where is that? What point in the video was the Lola Bunny stuff? I don't remember. Oh, here. Okay.
These people will forever find themselves pigeonholed into women.
Let's watch this bit. Let's
of this hippo and a.
Let's see Lyrix's thoughts on Lola Bunny. This is very important. Now this is very important stuff.
It shows annoying whore. Yeah, dude, it's a hippo, bro. It's a hippo.
Okay, wait, no, I want to see his whole thing on
Women
this.
for 1 second?
Oh my god, like cancerous. Hate for women for this fucking meme joke of this hippo in an animated show is annoying whore.
It is so crazy. We spoke about this last time. He was calling Gloria, the hippo from Madagascar, the cartoon hippo, a whore. And apparently that's him being a horrible misogynist.
Yeah, dude, it's a hippo, bro. It's a hippo.
Oh my god, you can't just suppress your hate for women for 1 second?
Jesus.
You can't do that. Hold on. So let me get this straight. Being a woman and then thinking about only men, let's say there is somebody who does that, makes you a whore?
Dude, and okay, what I was gonna say though, before that just happened, these people will forever find themselves pigeonholed into this corner where there will be a time in the next 3 years that something comes out against Louis Mcclung that even happened in his past. Maybe he says too edgy of a joke in a future video, and he will get called out for it because of these high, insane standards he's holding other people to. He won't be able to uphold. People will find something on him, and we will see an apology video of this guy taking accountability, and his audience will eat him alive the same way that he has sent his audience to eat alive other YouTubers. It's been a story as old as time. Somebody comes up on the scene, especially in a community like this, who tries to hold everyone else up to these insane standards and virtue signals all these beliefs, only for their dirty laundry to get aired out, and they get eaten alive.
1 second? You can't do that.
Like,
Hold on.
If you're saying this person hates women for that comment, like, you're gonna corner yourself so hard.
So let me get this straight. Being a woman and then thinking about only men, let's say there is somebody who does that, makes you a whore? Huh? Who made that decision?
Wow.
Hey, who made that rule? Hey, who made that rule?
It's a
Who made that,
cartoon
like,
hippo, bro.
A normal thing that we all agree
It's
with.
a
That's right,
fucking
nobody did.
talking cartoon hippo, dude.
That's just a weird fucking thing to say. Or maybe this one about Lola Bunny. Just hold on. Just wait till the end of the clip. Just wait. Just give it a second.
Her design is interesting to look at and is animated very impressively in the original Space Jam, especially for the time. And whilst her character at its core is a simple love interest, at least she had a character. In the god-awful sequel, she looks like shit. And I'm not talking about her tits being smaller. I mean, her design as a whole is horrendously ugly and boring to look at.
Her what?
True? Problem? What is the problem there? Yeah. They made Lola Bunny uglier, dude. She used to look hot as fuck. Okay. What did they do to Lola Bunny, bro? She was...
I mean, it's just facts. Where's the lie?
Dude, what am I watching, man? This is so dumb.
Where is the lie?
And whilst her character at its core is a simple love interest, at least she had a character. In the god-awful sequel, she looks like shit.
Who cares?
And I'm not talking about her tits being smaller. I mean her design as a whole is horrendously ugly and boring to look at.
This guy's awesome. This guy's awesome.
Her what?
Remember what they took from you.
Oh, God. Sorry, I had to, you know,
Bro.
get that out. You understand. What?
That was 10 times better than any of this guy's whole fucking catalog. Are you kidding me? Him making a joke about this little chipmunk Lola Bunny's tits, about how they're smaller now because of the woke mob media. Dude, they took the M&Ms. You know my opinions about the green M&M, man. Come on, we're not getting into that today. They took away the heels, and now they take away the chipmunk's tits.
A rabbit.
Come for
It's a rabbit, lyrics.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Yo, thank you for the raid, President Sunday. Thank you. Welcome in, President Sunday Raiders. We're just talking about how in Space Jam 2, they totally removed Lola Bunny's tits, and it was super fucked up that they did that.
They'll come for everything soon enough.
God. Sorry, I had to, you know, get that out. You understand. Why must you feel as though you have to make these remarks, okay? I don't understand why you feel you need to say this, okay? And these are all, I think, pre him becoming a drama commentary YouTuber. And I think these videos have since been deleted because, ooh, now 100,000 plus people are gonna see you say this stuff.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I didn't mean to say chipmunk. Bunny, you know what I'm saying, man? Come on.
And I think these videos have since been deleted because
It's crazy how he's trying to, like, purity test this guy for these clips. These, like, nothing clips, man. This is crazy.
because, ooh, now 100,000 plus
You
people
can't even call cartoon rabbits hot anymore. You cannot even say that you want to fuck a cartoon rabbit anymore without people trying to cancel you. Does it get more oppressive than this?
gonna see you say this stuff? Can't have that.
Take the knee off my neck. I want to breathe. I can't breathe.
That's not good. But more recently, do you know what he said?
Mannerisms, he's so sassy. To all the girls watching this who like sassy men, if this doesn't get your beef curtains in a twist, then I don't know what will.
So I've been informed that that phrase...
Okay, that was brutal. But who cares? What's the problem here? What's the Wait, what?
...is a derogatory one rooted in racism and misogyny. I don't know if you know...
Oh, dude. Let's fucking go. We're in.
I still don't get where the racism comes from. This is me guessing. I haven't heard them say this explicitly. I think that they're arguing that it disproportionately targets women of color because they're more likely to have long labia.
Strapped in.
I think that's what's being said.
Run it back. Run it back.
Mannerisms, he's so sassy. To all the girls watching this who like sassy men, if this doesn't get your beef curtains...
I think that is actually what's being said because it doesn't have a racist meaning. It doesn't. The meaning isn't racist. It is never. Yeah, but you can say roast beef is dark, but it's never used that way. I've never once heard it used that way. It is about the length. That has always been. That's the curtains part. That's why it's curtains, right? That's the point.
Yeah, isn't he black? Dude, this guy's some form of ethnic, man. What do you mean?
And in a twist, and I don't know what will.
So I've been informed that that phrase is a derogatory one rooted in racism and misogyny. I don't know if he knows that, but the only way you would hear this phrase is apparently through pornography or adult media or anything sexual.
I hate that this guy uses the Scott Pilgrim sound effect. I'm raging. It wasn't made for you. It wasn't made for you. You are a theater kid. You have never had a relationship. You are gay and sold out to women. You could never date a 17-year-old in your 20s.
Sexualizing women. Because I, personally, haven't actually heard that terminology ever. Okay? I have never...
Okay. This is our logic tree argument. So, the statement referring to a woman's vagina as beef curtains is rooted in racism and misogyny because the way you would hear this phrase would only be in media that is sexualizing women. So therefore, it must be misogynistic because in porn...
I did end up ordering the Scott Pilgrim box set, by the way. I did actually end up ordering it 100... Speaking of which, that's actually, guys, speaking of which, great time to remind you, okay? Supporting the stream is just so important. You know, I'm being demonetized, deboosted, shadow banned, you know, all these, what else? What are the other grift words? I'm getting shut out. I'm getting zog botted. I don't. Okay, maybe not that one. The knee is on my neck all the time. The whole world's knee is on my neck. I'm the most depressed person ever. Okay? And that's why it's so important. It's so, so important to support the stream, guys. My content runs on viewer support. Fully. Entirely. Except the ads. Except all the ads. My content runs on viewer support. Thank you for the 5 gifted Daisu. That's hugely appreciated. And I'm going to talk to you for just a moment, if you wouldn't mind, gathering around. And I'm going to explain to you the ways you can support the stream right now. So there's 365 of you, but only 91 of you have liked the stream, which is like a pretty bad ratio when you think about it. That's like 270 people who haven't done that bare minimum step that's completely free of moving their cursor thumbs up and clicking it, or pressing the thumbs up on the mobile device. So really, that's like the first step. Thank you, Yummy Prismo. That's hugely appreciated, the 5 gifted memberships. So that's the first step, okay? That is the first step. Now, you can also donate directly through the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. This gives me a huge, huge percentage of the money. 97% of the money goes straight to me if you donate through Stream Elements. That's a great way to support. You can also buy a membership to the channel or gift memberships to the channel, like Isu and Yami Prismo just have in sets of 5 each, giving random memberships to individual chatters. Very awesome stuff. Very awesome stuff. Now, there are also supers. Supers come in 2 forms. They're either super thanks, like Ryan Thomas is showing you right now, for $9.99, a super sticker, super thanks, super sticker, which he's done it's a yippee, a corporate art character doing a yippee, jumping up in the air and doing the splits while yippieing and waving their arms around. Amazing corporate art character. Thank you for the $9.99, Ryan Thomas. You can also super chat, which will highlight a message. It will highlight a message and read it out on TTS if the super chat contribution is over $5. You can also keep up to date with my content by going to either discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. All great options. All great options. So guys, remember, open your wallets, open your hearts, open your wallets, open your hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's the shell over. Okay.
You sexualize women. Did I miss a chapter or class on how porn is inherently misogynistic? What? Dude.
Thank you, Janky Johnny, for the $2 pair character. $2 pair character in a sports headband.
This video is insanely successful. 23,000 likes, 265 views. And the comments are, from everything I could see.
I'm getting cooked in LA. If I can donate, you can too.
Thank you for the $4.20 coming straight from warm LA, very warm LA.
Is very supportive. Okay, there's one comment here. Born and raised Brit here. Beef curtains is actually used surprisingly frequently in the UK. Just heavily depends on the region you're from. Okay, there's one. Did you like the video? Wait, why did I like the video? Oh no, dude. Wait, when did I? Oh, dude. What the fuck? There must. Be
okay, let's watch him watch some of the Papa Gut stuff. I want to see what we thought of that.
Okay, very good. All right, so I finished the video. I think my biggest issue is it seems like a lot of energy for something that seems to boil down to him just being maybe socially inept. So,
yo, who do we got in the chat? No shot. Is that the Lisa Harvey? Bro, huge fan.
Who is Lisa Harvey?
Dude, let's fucking go, man. Lisa Harvey's in this? She pulled up to the party? Dude, it's the real one.
Very excited to make today's.
What?
Yo.
What, dude?
No fucking way. The newest rising star.
I have been very excited to make
it's
today's.
The new one.
No way. There's some old lady making commentary drama videos. What on earth?